Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How y'all doing tonight? I'm Josh with American Gnome Productions. This is the Gnome Show. It's I don't know, I wouldn't say ad hoc, but definitely more off the cuff. I'm not really in the mind space to be scripting videos and stuff right now, and I find it more comfortable to be natural about everything. We've got some nice material for you tonight. We're going to talk about a soda that was very prevalent in the late 90s, especially in high school. And we're going to look at video games that we probably maybe should have given a second chance, that we gave up on. And then in our continued preparations for Phantom Liberty coming out, we have a theory on Bartmoss, which is one of the big time hackers, if not the biggest time hacker in cyberpunk lore. Well, no, he's not the biggest, but he's one of them. I would say Al Cunningham is probably the biggest fish in that sea. I could be wrong. But in the video games, Bartmoss is the one that they all talk about, that waged war against the corporations and a lot of other things too. He was sort of an anarchist. But we're gonna learn some stuff about him. And then we have unfinished business within facility 3826. I think it's 3826. Yeah. In Atomic Heart. We also have we also have a possible second run to do within Atomic Heart, because on our last stream we did beat the game, but it was not the ending that we expected. It's on my last one. It's on that very chunky final the final chapter in the Atomic Heart story. I told him that I was recording, and he's still fucking trying to talk to me. So we're gonna look at that. We've got a bunch of bunkers to go in and look at, and there's probably a point of no return. I think I know where it's at too, like when you're right before you're supposed to cross that bridge. The video on that one is out of the bunker and into the firefight when I cross the bridge. I think that is the point of no return for the end of the story. They do give you, they're like, hey, you should go and find a bunch of research bunkers to buff up your gear, which depending on your playstyle, there are a number of hot ticket items that are in the bunkers. There are some shotgun accessories that I am interested in, and I do want to see the fully upgradable or fully upgraded weapons. So that's something we're going to be doing this evening. Yeah. But before that, we will observe tradition. I hope you guys have had a good week. Mine wasn't particularly awful. I'm here with you guys. I'm happy. I'm healthy. I'm whole for the most part. The happy part comes with, its own caveats. It's what you pull out of life. Yeah. Whether you're happy or not. Are you happy with where you are? Are you happy with your state of mind, with your health, with your job? All these kinds of things kind of factor into whether you're happy or not. I'm definitely a silver lining type person, so I'm always going to try to have the positive outlook, even when things aren't looking so great. Yeah, acknowledge that things are going sideways in a fucking windstorm, but you're hearing, you know what I'm saying? It is the present moment, and you can. This is from a movie. Get busy living or get busy dying, and I'd rather get busy living, I guess. Shout out to Miss Ashante. I hope you're doing okay. I know things have been rough. Don't forget to check into what we discussed. She's very knowledgeable and reliable, and she does want to help people. So yeah, check her out, Miss Ajante. She will help you. She's not free, but she's fair. So, all right. Okay. So, and oh, just lost it. Well, we'll get started in a minute. I'm gonna get right in the head first. Usually when I start these things, they end up going for quite a while. So, you know, I was looking into getting a new chair because this one does not have the back. And I mean, it does have some sort of support, but when I lay back, it goes all the way back, and I that's not really good for my my posture and everything. And I am trying to make some kind of correction in like the way I sit and stand and walk and everything. Find out where I was. Okay. Probably gonna need another one here in a minute. Kind of interrupted myself with that. Wasn't the face melter that I was looking for. Hope you have something to drink. Something to snack on if you want. I just had pizza, so. And also, Miss Ashante gave me these noodles. It was late night rice noodles. They were pretty good. I was kind of mad that all of the real seasonings got trapped at the bottom. Yeah. And I stirred it too. I just apparently didn't know that they were all just sitting dry and happy at the bottom. So when you get to the bottom, you know, and after you've eaten everything and you're trying to go for the delicious juice and everything, I got just like tons of seasoning, and it was good, but it was so. But they were good, and I like rice noodles. I like how paper thin they are. They're really good. Yeah. I think Thai food uses a lot of rice noodles, don't they? I'm also trying to see whether, I mean, it is 3 months free fucking Spotify, and you get it without commercials. Offline playback and more. It's not like it wouldn't be a decent idea, because Mr. Shante has in the past wanted to share playlists with me, and this way she can. Oh, right. Okay. All right. Now I can lock the locker. Sorry. Does that ever happen to you, where you're just like random songs from well, yeah, of course it does. It happens to everybody, but that one, man, sometimes it just pops in there. Okay, now I have, yes, I'm going to install the app. Okay. Okay, let's. Sorry, guys. I'm just getting acquainted with full with Spotify. The full. Aha! There we are. I have found you. There we go. Okay. So now I can just now I can just fucking, I'll just do it from the, yeah, we're just gonna do it from, yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now that I have Spotify Premium, now I have both services. Because at the end of the day, I love my music, and I like my stuff without ads. I am a consumer. I realize as a content creator and a YouTube, creator, like, I'm gonna have to have ads in my videos, but so I don't like obtrusive ads. If there are banners like on the bottom, as as long as they're not necessarily, as long as they're discreet, like they draw your eye, you see it, and they're on there and everything, but they're not fucking literally blocking your visual field and giving you goddamn fucking seizures because all you see is flashing lights and shit, and so I do have my qualms with advertising, but I mean, you have to understand it. That's how business works. Especially with targeted ads and all that stuff, the way they do it now. Told you I was going to need to do one more. By the way, our music, as usual, is provided by Total Eclipse. He's a really cool dude, and he's allowed his playlist to be used, free of charge. And yeah, I like it because I'm I'm not ever trying to just as far as putting music in, I understand their copyrights and their your intellectual properties and all that stuff. But what about just letting people enjoy your music? Just find it's just very weird the way copyright works, and I understand it's necessary and it protects me and it protects you. It protects everybody when you make something and you release it to the world and you expect to get paid for it or you want to be paid for it. There's something to be said for exposure, especially if you're not trying to make money off of it, or you're not trying to make direct money off of somebody's music. What if I wanted to listen to other music that I happen to enjoy? I'm 43. There's a lot of music that I've listened to over the years. And you're telling me that, I can't share that with anybody else? Although radio is there and, it just seems very weird to me. And obviously, I don't understand a lot of the stuff that goes on with, around said legal quandaries. But I guess that's why copyright is a thriving entity in our legal system. I mean, if you're sharing with people for free, is there, shouldn't there be some kind of fair use? I guess not, people just don't want people to use their stuff without getting paid for it. I don't know. At some point, you have so much money, does it matter if somebody is out there, playing your music or, movies are different. Movies are different. It's still the same kind of puzzling questions still around it, piracy and all that. In my much younger, heady days of internet piracy, sorry, I was channeling some Hitchhiker's Guide there. Shit, I really fucked the order of that up, didn't I? We have enough time. Let's see. As I was saying, back in the heady days of my trolling the internet and forays into internet piracy, and mind you, these were the Wild West days where there were no Crunchyrolls, or let's just say there were no services that were going to quickly bring you what you wanted to watch. If you were lucky and you had satellite cable, you could probably catch anime and certain movies that you would never see on this side of the Atlantic, shows too. But there were a lot of things that you couldn't get anywhere else besides either paying exorbitant amount of money at your local Suncoast or other Suncoast, they were kind of like, they were video stores. Like, you would find movies and anime and merchandise and toys and things like that. Like, they were one of those stores that operated in a niche where, like, it was slightly cheaper than going to your local anime shop, but it was still really fucking expensive to get like a set of your favorite anime. You'd be like, all right, I'm going to get these two, and I'm going to come back, and I'll buy the next couple, and I'll come back. And then, if you're like me, and you go home, and you're like, you know, you've just gotten, like, you've just bought yourself your first computer, and you have some of the fastest internet in the known universe. What is a kid like me to do? Like, I found places like SoulSeek and other places where you could find everything. And there's still places where you can do that now, you know, I'm sure. And my little anarchist pirate brain is like, even now is just like, yo, there's a lot of stuff on here that you could just fucking get, like, without fucking paying for it. Like music's not as big a thing anymore, because of how easy it is to get streaming music free, you know, at least that you can listen to without paying for. Instead, you know, we're talking about stuff that you can use. I don't know, maybe I'm rambling a little bit. But even now, like, there are things out here that be like, no man, I'm just like, I wouldn't be willing to pay for this. There are games that come out that I'm just like, I would not fucking pay for it. Like, no way. Let's not to beat a dying horse, but let's take a game like Redfall, where no, it's too easy. It's too easy. Jedi Survivor. It's a good one. Like, you know, you guys know the industry standard is like 60 FPS. And you're a big studio. There is no excuse for you not like getting that game to run at 60 FPS. Especially with like a really powerful equipment. Like, I don't got no 4090 or anything like that, but I've got 3060 overclocked, and like, I should be able to pull 50 to 60 frames per second. Easy. I did with Atomic Heart. That game runs fucking flawlessly, especially with the new NVIDIA drivers, and the shaders that were downloaded for the game. My card kind of just like, it's still like was on the hum, but it when I was playing the game before the driver updates, it was fairly loud. Reminded you of kind of like a plane when you were in a really fucking like intense battles. But now it runs real buttery fucking smooth. But when you have games that are coming out and they want to charge you $70 minimum, like we're not talking special editions. We're talking standard, where it's not even running, like you can't, like it's not 30 FPS is not a standard anymore, and it's not comfortable for people anymore. I play with a mouse and keyboard. I wear glasses. And I'm still like, yo, you can't you can't play at 30 frames per second. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel comfortable. We need humans need 24 frames per second to see like motion. So like that's just over the edge. Like 30 frames is just over the edge for us for seeing a still image. Like that's, like come on, guys. And let's not talk about the bugs before the technical quality, like just the bugs. Now, if I'm someone that has means to get games for free, do you want better? If I'm able to play other things on fucking Game Pass that are superior, that are literally fucking indie titles, I think that, like that speaks volumes to like how lazy you are, like, or no, it's not laziness, because a lot of work goes into making these games regardless of how bad they turn out. Like a bunch of people worked really hard to make them. It's more like you just don't, you expect us to pay because of your name, or, well, yeah, maybe that's what happened with Arcane, and they've been fucking up lately, but, they were hoping to roll into this with their name. Oh, no, the player base will be okay, they'll roll with it, they'll see something in it. No. Not only can you not play this at 60 frames per second in a shooter-looter that's got vampires that have no AI, that have no motherfucking... I saw two vampires abreast each other in a doorway, and they literally waited for the one that was blocking the doorway to fucking get killed before they decided, oh, well, now I can move through the doorway. You can kill me now. Thank you very much. I'm worried about Starfield. I'm not worried about Blizzard as much as I am Bethesda. Blizzard has, especially with Diablo 4, and I can't wait. I've got the special edition. I'm so ready. I'm ready for the murder. I'm ready to sink my teeth into a game that has the development process has gone the way it should. They're listening to the fans. They actually took the feedback from the last playtest and like did things about it. And it's been really nice. Like, this is the Blizzard that I like. I'm very excited about Starfield, and I really want it to be the game that allows me to do what I did in Skyrim when I first came into contact with that game. That game was so good. It was so good. The marketing was done right, and the live action video where you were the Dragonborn and you came in and you saw the dragon and then it was like the whole thing. You shouted, oh man, Fusroda, and you were like, bro, and then it actually dropped, and you were like, it was epic. And these are the kinds of moments that I remember from Bethesda. And let's take it back a step further. My first real, honest to goodness introduction into Fallout was Fallout 3. Gary, I remember when Gary, back in the day when he was talking about, maybe it was the original Fallout, but I definitely remember him talking about one of them. Maybe it was Fallout 2. But it was turn-based and strategic and isometric, and I wasn't really into those games at the time. At least the slow-moving type games. And turn-based definitely wasn't one of the ones that I liked. It took Final Fantasy VII to give me any appreciation for that kind of gaming. And as far as isometric gaming, I played fairly good games. I think, wasn't Postal isometric? But Diablo was the first one that I really, really liked as far as isometric gaming. There may have been things on previous consoles that I liked. But a formative game definitely was Diablo. I remember going through my house guerrilla style with a phone cord from the phone jack behind the bar. Yeah, we had a bar in so my soul, I'm from the 80s. I was and this is a bone I have to pick with the generations. I'm 1980, October 1980 to be exact. And some of you are like, oh no, he's definitely a Generation X. He's just right on the edge of it. And other people are like, no, he's a millennial. He was born. No, I don't understand why would be a millennial. Because I didn't really come of age in the well, yeah, I guess I did. Maybe I am a millennial because I did come of age. No, I came of age before the millennium, but right there at the end. So yeah, maybe I am just in that fucking that precipice between Gen X and millennial. I believe there is anyway. So I remember having my phone cord, and we had a bar. It was one of those rolling bars, so you could move it out of the way and shit. And it was the corner of the room was a bar, but it was for the glassware and everything. And then you had the rolling bar, and then the plug was behind there. So I had to run the plug from underneath the bar, alongside the banister, through the kitchen into the office. Which was just so it was an old style plan of the house. So there was this gigantic living room, a big gigantic living / sitting room, and the only thing that divided the room was a fireplace that was built. It was a whole part of the. It was like a feature. It was like a part of the house, like that was like a fireplace, an electric fire that could be moved and used as a regular fireplace. We had a chimney and all that kind of good stuff. But on the other side of that fireplace was the computer room, the office, or whatever. It is in this big ass room where I first used the Apple II. And subsequently the 386, IBM 386, and then a Packard Bell, which was unupgradable unless you sent that bitch halfway across the fucking the country. But on said Packard Bell is where I first played Diablo, and man was it sweet, because not only was Battle.net a thing, which made Diablo 2 much easier to enjoy when it came out, because I had access to the internet, but Diablo had Battle.net, and you actually had, I think there was an online service where you had multiple players that could come in, and you'd all be on in the dungeon, and they had player killers, and they had player killers, and they had a whole scoreboard and a bounty list for that and everything. It was a very wild time. But games like that you would have never pirated. The types of games that we would have pirated back in the day would have actually, video game pirates. I mean, it was there, but it wasn't. That wasn't really the thing. That it wasn't really that back then. It was mostly movies and anime and porn, or software. Like if you were looking for other software, or you were looking because we had message, or what was it? News groups or news something. We had something. They were like bulletin boards or whatever. I think they were news groups. Yeah, I think news groups was what it was back in the day. And they would have stuff in there that you can go and find, and there was all kinds of stuff. And those were the days where people were first starting to upload things onto the internet, or have at least give access, or their stuff was available to share online. SoulSeek was a big one. I've talked about them before. That was a really good time. I don't know where we got off of Spotify from all of this, and I do apologize for rambling. The music has been good, and it hasn't stopped in quite a while, which is really fucking I'm really digging. I'm not having any buyer's remorse from getting this service. This is very nice. All right. Enough rambling. Well, I would say enough of me rambling, because the reminiscing shall be done now by our good friends at Weird History Food. We are going to learn about Surge High School. It was in the lunchrooms. Yeah. I think I gained a lot of fucking weight off of this goddamn drink. This and fucking fries with mayonnaise and Old Bay. Because we had really good crinkle cut fries in high school. My grandmother tried to put me on a cabbage diet. And really, I did try to fucking stick to it. I really did. I was even martial arts, man. Like it wasn't like I wasn't an active young person. I was in scouts. I was in martial arts. Um, I was in a number of extracurricular activities, drama back in the day. Um, yeah, I was always active, but I always liked to eat. That was, I guess, because I was a lonely child. But whatever. This did contribute to a lot of my weight gain. But it was so good. And I forgot how much of a fucking caffeine addict I was even back then. Like even when I didn't fucking like I don't even put fucking sugar in my coffee. It just goes jet black. Like I'm a traditionalist when it comes to coffee. I don't know about traditionalist. I guess I'm a diehard no sugar, no cream type person. I don't know. It's so good. I like the coffee. I like the taste of it. When there are different varieties, I can actually taste the variety of the coffee, and I like that. I never understood how people how people liked bitterness as a flavor until I started drinking coffee. Weird. So, let's get into it.
The mid-1990s could be distilled into a can, it would surely be a can of Surge.
Yes, sir.
Drink of that bygone era. Some may remember it for its fully loaded citrusy sweetness, others for its rather deranged commercials. But, tragically, it's mostly known as the drink that left us too soon. Today we're asking, whatever happened to Surge? But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel and let us know in the comments below what other gone too soon beverages you would like to hear about next.
Currently,
Okay,
I'm smoking on one of the California Gas 5-gram disposables. These things are good.
In the 1990s, Coca-Cola was looking for a way to dethrone Mountain Dew as the world's most popular citrus soda for teenage boys. Coke had already tried to outdo the Dew decades before, when they introduced Mellow Yellow to the world in 1979. But they were doomed from the start, and no guest appearance in Days of Thunder was going to fix that. Mellow Yellow didn't have the same hyperactive, bright middle school energy as Mountain Dew, and we're willing to bet it never will. So, if Coke wanted to compete, they needed to develop a whole new recipe. Because this was the 90s, it needed to be something cool and extreme. Like a crocodile wearing sunglasses. Oh man, that was so extreme! And in 1996,
wow,
they developed just the thing. They called it Mountain Dew Killer, or MDK for short. But if Nathan Fielder's dumb Starbucks taught us anything, you have to be a little more original than that if you want to make it in this world. Enter Urge. Coca-Cola shot across the bow of a Viking ship. Why the weird analogy? Because it was initially a Norwegian exclusive. Urge was the name of MDK's first appearance on the market. It was a hit with the citrus-loving Scandinavians, and it soon found a home in Sweden and Denmark as well. It wasn't long before Urge grew even bigger still, and in 1997, Urge set sail across the ocean blue in a bid to claim Mountain Dew's territory for itself. Already well established in America, Mountain Dew had sprung from humble Tennessee origins, where it once had a country bumpkin for a mascot and used the slogan, "Mountain Dew will tickle your innards, 'cause there's a bang in every bottle." They should bring that back, because who can resist a cola-slinging bumpkin? But in 1992, PepsiCo rebranded the Dew for a cooler, more youthful audience. They introduced the slogan, "Do the Dew," and started buying up ads that featured BMX bikers and skateboarders.
That's right.
Mountain Dew soon became synonymous with the X Games, and it wasn't long before every cool kid in town was chugging Mountain Dew while rollerblading past the local library and giving all the books the finger. By 1997, Mountain Dew held 80% of the heavy citrus soda market. If Urge wanted to compete, they'd have to go bigger, hipper, and more extreme. So, Coke renamed the project Surge and dropped $50 million on an ad campaign for Super Bowl 31. There was one
It is a good drink, man.
Surge was already an existing product on the American market. Its trademark was owned by the Babson Bros, whose Surge milker had been proudly milking cows across America since 1925. Rather than pursue a future in which America's preteens gulped down cartons of extreme milk while tearing up the blacktop on their Razor scooters, the Babson Bros filed a petition to stop Coke's Super Bowl ad campaign. They ended up settling with Coke for an undisclosed amount of money, and the Super Bowl was back on, with Surge's new ads ready to bombard C students everywhere.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
While Mountain Dew's advertising stuck mostly to established extreme sports, Coke knew that they'd have to step things up if they wanted to outdo the Dew. So, rather than relying on boring old snowboards and parachutes, Coke made up games all their own to show the extremes teenage boys could do just to get their grubby little hands on Surge. In one ad, a group of young men raced towards a bottle of Surge by rolling down a hill in metal barrels. In another, some hockey players beat the lime green pea out of a group of innocent snowmen. One of them holds the coated soft drink. And yet another features a violent foot race over a collection of living room furniture in the middle of the street. Like an option, of course, made on
Such violence, such brutality.
Makes no sense.
But nobody needed to understand it. Surge's marketing relied on the pure and utter chaos that teenagers adore. They even went as far as inventing their own words to try and make old ones more exciting. Who needs carbohydrates when you can have
Carbos?
A word that seems to refer to the drink's high maltodextrin content. And within-your-face slogans like
Feed the rush.
and
Let's scream.
Coke had everything they needed to lure young millennials away from dusty old Mountain Dew and under the crisp new wing of Surge. Unfortunately for Coke, they might have taken things a bit too far.
Oh, shit.
Surge's marketing campaign broadcast into households across America images of geared-up teens wreaking havoc. But by trying to make Surge seem more extreme than Mountain Dew, Coke may have pushed the envelope of what was socially acceptable.
Gross.
The message to parents was clear. Drinking Mountain Dew will make your kid pick up a skateboard and memorize every level of Sonic the Hedgehog. Drinking Surge, though, that'll make your kid go nuts. Reports started coming in from schools across the nation. Kids were drinking Surge at school, and they were acting like little maniacs because of it. Although, whether the kids were acting out because of the actual contents of the drink, or were merely imitating Surge's dystopian extreme marketing campaign, is unclear. But nuance can't hold a candle to hordes of angry parents. As far as they were concerned, Surge was making their kids crazy, and it had to go. Suit campaigns took off in school districts all over the country to have Surge removed from school vending machines, even though Mountain Dew was allowed to stay. Some schools even banned kids from bringing Surge onto the grounds, like it was a handle of scotch rather than a can of corn syrup and water. Any attempt to bring the black market product into the classroom would result in swift disciplinary action. But what these parents and administrators didn't seem to realize, or didn't seem to care, was that Mountain Dew actually had more caffeine in it than Surge by 4 whole milligrams. Like their kids, they had fallen for Surge's chaotic marketing, and they went after Surge regardless of the facts. In spite of the backlash, maybe because of it, Surge had strong initial sales. In 1997, Coke sold 69 million cases of Surge, a far cry away from Mountain Dew's 605 million cases.
God damn.
But a good surge towards building Surge's brand into a true Dew competitor. They soon dropped Mountain Dew's market share down to 66% from its previous 80%. Sergio Zyman, Coca-Cola's chief marketing officer, and a man whose name matched the bodaciousness of Surge, was the man behind this initial success. Believed by many in his time to be a maverick of the advertising world, he had repeatedly bucked convention and had successfully rebranded Coke's products for a new generation. Wait, I thought that was a Pepsi slogan. Even though Zyman was responsible for the notorious failure of New Coke, hey, they can't all be home runs. His image in the industry remained that of the rebel through to the end. A year after Surge's launch, though, Zyman resigned from Coca-Cola for disputed reasons, because the guy behind Surge was never going to go quietly. Unfortunately, the vacuum he left behind left Surge in a lurch. Zyman was replaced by Charles S. Frenette, a man eager to return Coke to the pre-Zyman era of Coca-Cola marketing. And he didn't seem to know how to handle the youth-centered market to which Surge had tethered its brand. In 1998, under Frenette's leadership, Surge's year-over-year sales dropped by almost 25%. That is decidedly
Dumbass.
not radical. Coke sold under 52 million cases of Surge that year. Over 17 million.
It was a good soda, and they dropped the ball on it.
All the while, Mountain Dew sales only increased. Just 1 year later, Surge's sales numbers weren't even half.
I don't drink soda anymore anyway.
Fernet, for his part, tried to reduce
As a
the
rule,
product's negative
there are
stigma
exceptions
with parents,
sometimes.
but the effort was futile. Surge would never recover. Finally, in 2003, Coca-Cola discontinued the product altogether, making Surge just another name in the ranks of fallen soft drinks, like 7-Up Gold or that Pepsi Blue potion.
I'm sure it came back as an energy drink.
Almost a decade after Surge's untimely demise, Coca-Cola tried yet again to make Mellow Yellow hip to a new generation.
No.
They fell back onto their 1990 idea of tying the product to the high-speed antics of Days of Thunder. And in 2010, Coca-Cola launched a new ad campaign that paired Mellow Yellow with America's favorite pastime, drag racing. They partnered with the National Hot Rod Association and gave away free cans of Mellow Yellow to adoring racing fans across the nation. Even though there isn't much we wouldn't do for a free can of soda, the campaign failed.
Look. No one cares about Mellow Yellow. Like, that soda is just a dusty ass fucking memory. Like, I remember Surge though, because that motherfucking label was like everywhere, and it was in my high school, and it was good, and I drank it, and it was awesome, and it had fucking tons of caffeine. Yeah, fuck Mellow Yellow.
To make a dent in Mountain Dew's sales.
Nope.
And Coca-Cola has since gone back to the drawing board. But whatever happened to Surge? Could it appear on the horizon like Gandalf and restore Coke's Mountain Dew killer? In the years since Surge vanished from the market, multiple communities have popped up across the internet to put pressure on Coke to bring the product back. From SaveSurge.org to the Surge movement, people have digitally shown up by the thousands to show their support for the discontinued soft drink. In fact, the Surge movement was so successful in garnering support that they managed to raise the $4,000 needed to buy a billboard outside of Coca-Cola's Atlanta headquarters.
Nice.
It read, "Dear Coke, we couldn't buy Surge, so we bought this billboard instead." Maybe could have invested in something with a better chance of return, like pop figures or a savings account. But the higher-ups at Coke saw this message, and they responded.
Oh shit.
More than 10 years after Surge was discontinued, Coke gave it a second shot. In 2014, the company announced that due to pressure from online communities, Surge was once more coming back onto the market. The announcement, made over Facebook, got over 3,000 likes and 700 comments. There was joy in the digital streets as ticker tape rained down on imaginary digital cities. Coca-Cola arranged to sell the soda exclusively through Amazon. For a mere $14, anyone could buy 12 16-ounce cans of Surge from Papa Bezos himself, and no parents or school administrators would be around this time to stop them.
He just looks like such a supervillain.
The initial stock of Surge sold out in just
Like, if anybody was gonna be like, it's Jeff Bezos. That motherfucker just looks like he's one tick away from it.
Before the product disappeared again. For the next few years, Surge scalpers took advantage of its absence, selling the product for jacked-up prices as rumors swirled of its official return. But in 2018, Surge reappeared once more in the most royal of places. Through an exclusive deal with Burger King, Surge briefly rented a room in Coke's freestyle soda machines across America. What's more, Burger King even gave the drink its own limited-time slushie. It's good to be king. All good things must come.
Wow, that was
And Surge seems to have wandered off and
what's up,
disappeared.
buddy?
But
Yeah.
for those of you who can't wait for Surge to show back up, there's hope. Remember Urge, the Norwegian predecessor to Surge? It never went off the market, and is still just one quick cruise line away from being yours. While it trades Surge's toxic green look for a muddy brown color, and according to some the recipes aren't quite identical, Urge may just be the only hope for getting your Surge fix anytime soon. So until Coke decides to bring our favorite can of Shrek blood back, you'll just have to
Blood.
feel the urge. The urge.
Pauly Shore.
So
That's
what
his
do
name.
you think? Surge or Mountain Dew? Or hell, even Squirt? Let us know in the comments below.
Squirt.
While you're at
Oh,
it,
wow.
check out some of these other weird history food videos.
Remember Orangina? There's been a couple weird fucking sodas and ooh. Okay. Next up, 10 video games you gave up on. This is What Culture Gaming. Yeah. We all know and love them. They've been on for a long time. Of course I'm subscribed.
To come out, but all the interest in them has fizzled out. Others, meanwhile, release in such a poor state that people go elsewhere for their entertainment. The entries in this list fall into either category, but what unites them is that their potential audience largely disappeared. Though looking at them now, they're frankly decent games at the very least, and in some cases, underappreciated classics. I'm Sai for WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 video games you gave up on that are actually great. Number 10, The Last Guardian. Shadow of the Colossus is one of the most celebrated titles in gaming history. Its approach to both gameplay and story, and what ties them together, has influenced so many releases in its wake. As such, Japan Studios' follow-up, The Last Guardian, seemed like it had the potential to be just as huge. Originally revealed as a PlayStation 3 title in 2009, the game took 7 years before it hit store shelves for the By this time, any hype from the initial reveals had absolutely died down to a simmer. Everything was exacerbated by the departure from Sony of lead developer Fumito Ueda. Despite Sony reassuring consumers that the author was still lead on the project, Ueda had described his departure as coming from feeling a sense of crisis which made players uneasy. Whilst it's hard to argue that parts of The Last Guardian didn't already feel outdated on release, it doesn't mean that the game was bad by any means. In fact, 2016 was a year of solid action-packed FPS titles such as Overwatch, Battlefield 1 and the Doom reboot, to name a few, so The Last Guardian still managed to find its space as a slower-paced, more thoughtful experience. The game holds favourable reviews on Metacritic from both critics and consumers, it's just that it's simply undersold terribly. Number 9, No Man's Sky. Now, there are strong arguments to be made about false advertising and not patting developers on the back for eventually getting their games where they needed to be on release. Still, the fact of the matter is that No Man's Sky has clawed its way back from certain doom. Hello Games' spacefaring adventure title promised some pretty hefty things, including a massive universe littered with an unthinkable number of procedurally generated planets that could be explored a lot.
I was looking at this game today. Or actually I was looking at it today. I was looking at it when I got off work last night, around midnight. I might come back to it. I'm just I played it when it first came out and I was decidedly unimpressed. Well, no, underwhelmed is more the right word. I was impressed when I first started the game, but the lack of cohesion and stuff to do, like all you're doing is just going planet to planet and just collecting resources. Sometimes you would find some alien stuff or some but it just wasn't very good. But I watched the trailer last night and it looked like a version 4.0. It looked really good. It's probably, no, I'm probably going to give it a try at some point because it's on Game Pass.
Friends. However, the planets were all pretty uniform, the ships you could pilot were boring, and the promised multiplayer seemed to be removed right at the last moment. There was simply very little to do. And yet No Man's Sky may be the poster child for games being supported long after their release. In the 7 years since, the game has had multiple free patches every year that have included hosts of new content, bringing it in line with the original vision for the title, and beyond that by several milestones. To really hit home, the game was tagged on Steam with mostly negative reviews on its debut in 2016. In September 2021, the developers had turned this around to 70% positive reviews. Number 8, Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. Advance Wars first came to the West in 2003 and brought a puzzling little military strategy concept to the Game Boy Advance. Being one of Nintendo's most niche franchises, standing in the shadows of Mario and Link, ultimately led to the last game in the series being 2008's Days of Ruin, or Dark Conflict in Europe. As such, fans were relieved to see the two original GBA titles announced for Switch in July 2021 as the awkwardly titled Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. Just a month before release, however, Nintendo decided to put the game on ice indefinitely due to the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine. Fans, even the most understanding ones, got a little impatient as the delay for a surely completed game took over a year to pass by. Thankfully, Reboot Camp was well received due to its abundance of content that has been reinvigorated and polished to perfection. The package never loses sight.
I did, however, download the Mass Effect trilogy. I've never played it before. I'm pretty sure it's the Mass Effect. It's the let's see. Oh, no, it's not in here. It's one of the things I don't like is having all the fucking all the loaders for different games. Like I had to download an EA loader for Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition, which apparently has all of the it has Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, and yeah, it says let's see, Legendary Edition includes single player based content and over 40 DLC from Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 3 games, including promo weapons, armors, and packs. So, I am going to be playing this game. I have been told it is super good, and by all accounts from everybody around the world, it is. So I will be checking out that game. But beforehand, we're going to be we're going to be playing the rest of Atomic Heart, because I want to completely play that game, and then I'm going to do a review on it. Which may take me a little time because I've got to go through all my footage, pick out the best bits that I want to talk about, and then like assemble it all into a cohesive format, and that may take me a minute. That's generally not in my wheelhouse of things, but I've got to learn how to do it, and it would be my first reason to do a somewhat scripted video, or at the very least, put together a video that I can talk over in the background and give my thoughts on a few things. Like I'll have bullet points. Basically, yeah, scripted video, I don't know when that's going to come around, but it is something that I've been working on. It's already been incubating in my brain, and it's something that I can do. Yeah, I might just actually, so when I'm done with the game, I'll just take a weekend, and that's what I'll spend my weekend doing, is putting that video together. I like the game, but I'm fairly sure that I didn't get the final ending. It wasn't the satisfying conclusion that I expected from being the hero of the game. So I did like it though. It was a good ending.
What made the originals great, retaining both its charm and level of challenge. At the time of speaking, the game hasn't been out long enough to know how it's fared sales-wise. Unfortunately for a C-tier franchise, it was already fighting an uphill battle, but over a year of delays can certainly hurt potential interest. Number 7, Sea of Thieves. Under Nintendo's contract, Rare were one of the most...
I heard this is like a really popular game now. It's gotten some love and attention.
respected developers in the industry. After signing with Microsoft, that reputation began to slip fast. The legendary Rare, working on games for a failing gimmicky peripheral, just felt like a total waste, and key staff members left the company fast. As such, Sea of Thieves was Rare's real chance for a comeback. This high-sea exploring pirate adventure looked at the state of multiplayer online titles and sought to inject the genre with something unique. After a delay, the game finally released in 2018, and as an always online world, Sea of Thieves encountered the common but no less dreaded server issues. Furthermore, when players did finally get into the game, many of them found themselves eventually asking, well, what is there to do, and began to move on to something else. A thoughtful roadmap kept the core audience engaged and convinced players to return in a year's time when the content and progression system was much deeper. Since then, Sea of Thieves has only gone from strength to strength. Now, if a player was to jump in, they'd find the game fit to burst with experiences from random encounters with ghost ships to story-driven adventures, as well as pretty impressive crossovers with the likes of Pirates of the Caribbean. Number 6, Shenmue 3. Shenmue holds an interesting place in history as a niche.
Ooh, this is the game that I was talking about. That like what little that I played of because I didn't like how it felt. Like I really didn't like it of Ghostwire Tokyo. The way everything felt and looked and played and everything, it looks like this game.
Touchstone that has had an understated impact on storytelling in gaming, as well as helping to popularise quick-time events. After nearly 2 decades since the second game, a third title finally arrived, partially by way of a crowdfunding project. So not only did Shenmue 3 have to contend with an 18-year wait and the grand expectations associated with it, but also unfortunately mixed reviews upon release. Some outlets called the game samey and outdated, but in a way this was the entire point. How does one update a series so rooted in gaming's DNA at the turn of the millennium to modern standards? And is that what fans really want? Instead of teething its way through something new, Shenmue 3 is a loving nostalgic callback to the Dreamcast classics in a way that almost feels like no time has passed at all. Sure, despite all that time, the threequel doesn't actually wrap up all the loose plot threads and even has the gall to end on a cliffhanger. Still, taken at face value, there's a lot to like about Shenmue 3. The franchise is somewhat divisive and has a reputation for being obtuse in its slow and relaxed nature, but if you enjoyed Shenmue's past, there was no reason to write off the follow-up. Number 5, Fallout 76. The concept of exploring the post-apocalyptic wasteland and coming into contact with other players doing the same was strong enough that Fallout 76 made too much sense not to do. However, the game infamously had one of the most negative reactions within the last decade. On launch, it had infinitely more bugs than it had things to actually do. There weren't even NPCs or really much in the way of quests. With that in mind, many players expected Fallout 76 to become a game that Bethesda washed their hands of quickly, but that's not what happened at all. The team maintained their commitment to updating and improving the experience, completely overhauling the leveling system, fleshing out the world and supplying story-driven content, and peppering in tons of quality of life improvements, all for free. The numbers don't lie. At the end of last year, the company revealed that Fallout 76 had climbed to 13.5 million players lifetime total.
Not bad,
people
not
are
bad.
continuously trying it out. The game currently holds a sturdy average of about 8,000 concurrent players who enjoy what it's become. And yes, that number is never going to set the world on fire, but it's a lot better than the game becoming the empty wasteland most predicted at launch. Number 4, Prey 2006. 3D Realms were once a key figure in the first-person shooter genre, having published id Software's Wolfenstein 3D and developed their own Duke Nukem 3D. As such, they were a name to watch, and their next foray into the FPS was sure to push the genre forwards yet again. Early looks at Prey during the late 1990s repeatedly impressed. It had a strong sense of style and some eye-watering visuals for the time, especially in regards to its portal feature that rendered 2 areas and stitched them together seamlessly. But Prey was trapped in development hell for years, constantly stopping and starting and even being restarted. The issue here is that in all the time 3D Realms agonized over Prey, the FPS genre was evolving, with games like Medal of Honor and Call of Duty coming and making their mark. When Prey finally released in 2006, it was considered a financial success, but its sales figures were dwarfed by its contemporaries. Simply put, the industry had moved on. That being said, Prey still offered a lot of its own flavour with its unique portal and gravity-defying features, stellar level design and gorgeous world building. When other shooters were starting to fight over who was the biggest and the grandest, Prey offered a low-key atmospheric tale that has seen it become a cult classic. Number 3, Star Wars Battlefront 2. One way to make waves throughout the gaming industry is to simply release a product of unanimously agreed high quality. Another, of course, is to do something so controversial that you are all the news cycle cycles can talk about. When the beta for Star Wars Battlefront 2 released in 2017, it gave a startling insight into the loot box heavy systems of the game. Players, even those who had shelled out for deluxe editions, would have to make the choice between spending even more money or grinding for 40 hours to unlock a single hero character. Even as EA disabled
Yeah, I remember.
microtransactions days before release, Battlefront 2 had a pretty strong stink about it for a long time. But somehow, despite this, when the publisher announced the game's support would be ending in 2020, some die-hard fans even took to making petitions to ask for more. That is a head-spinning turnaround. And in all fairness, it wasn't like Battlefront 2 wasn't fun from the get-go. Over the years, EA tweaked the game's reward systems away from being totally contemptuous while adding tons of maps, skins, and content that celebrated different eras of the space opera saga. It took the longest, bumpiest road possible to get there, but Battlefront 2 wound up being a pretty good celebration of Star Wars. Number 2, Dead Island 2. 2011's Dead Island was a decent enough mindless multiplayer zombie killing romp. It showed promise, at least, and so it was given spin-offs, and a sequel was greenlit the following year. Dead Island 2's existence became so much of a meme that others, like Goat Simulator 3, began parodying the long wait for it. Not only did development stretch across 11 years, it also spent time in the hands of 3 different teams. Jaeger Studio were dropped in 2015, Sumo Digital had the product taken out of their hands in 2019, and finally the game released as developed by Dambuster Studios. That is the development equivalent of a project being raked over hot coals and glass. And yet, both critical and consumer response to the sequel are one of pleasant surprise, with the game scoring around the 70% mark. Players
Yeah, I think this game just came out.
Aesthetic, memorable locations, and high-quality gore. The level of polish is surprising considering the majority of long-delayed titles tend to suffer in this regard. Most players who assumed that Dead Island 2, if it ever came, was going to be a disaster were well within their rights, but it wound up being surprisingly enjoyable. And number 1, Cyberpunk 2077. With no question, Cyberpunk 2077 is remembered as the most disastrous video game launch of all time. Whilst the game was originally
I didn't have this. I didn't have most of these problems. It's sad that to use his phrase. It's sad that this game got raked over hot coals with glass, because I had a really good time. Even now, there's an itch in the back of my brain that tells me to restart the game. So, like, I don't know. This kind of, like, irks me a little bit because I had a really good time in the game. Just like anything else, like any other really good game, I wanted more. And yes, could definitely be some improvements in the AI, especially with the police. Although I generally don't tussle with the police. I'm more the gangs are usually more fun to fight. Like the police, that just seems like Night City already has enough problems. And I know the police aren't perfect in Night City, but like you get a sense that they have a pretty rough time just doing their job. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, like they get up and they're like, okay, you can do this. You will come home tonight. You will come home tonight. All right, let's go. You know, like it's different. I guess it's different with Max Tech, but the average beat cop is probably terrified when they go to work in the morning in Night City. And I usually, like, I helped with a cyberpsycho crisis. Like, I took all my subjects down without killing them, all non-lethal takedowns, and I wish the story had gone farther. I wish it had developed into something bigger. I wish the Parallels story had developed into something bigger. Maybe it will. There were a couple of storylines in the game that I wish had gone bigger, or led to bigger other things. Like this, I thought this was going to go a lot farther. You know, with she's a Max Tech officer now. You meet her in that really expensive clothes shop in the corpo section of Night City. She's fucking crazy. I thought this guy was gonna be like involved in the actual game. Like when we saw the trailer, like I had a lot of different expectations for it. But I still really like that game quite a bit, and the driving is fun. Like even on keyboard and mouse, it's pretty fun once you get used to it. And there's so much in Night City. There's a couple of things that I'm pretty sure I haven't found yet. In fact, I'm sure of it. But I kind of want to restart that game.
Originally announced in 2012, it went through a protracted development. Nearing the end of the decade, the interest in cyberpunk sci-fi world was high, ever more so than when beloved actor Keanu Reeves announced he would be playing a lead character. But then the game released, and you likely don't need.
I didn't mind Keanu being in the game, all things considered. Oh yeah, I mean there were. All right, let's be honest. There were things. There were things. I saw some of that, but the game played surprisingly well even with my 1660 Super. I was okay. I guess that not having the shaders involved, having the RTX turned on or anything like that, kind of helped the performance of the game, the stability. I don't know, but on my system, it played mostly flawlessly. Even when I turned it up on the max settings that I could get. So yeah. I still have my 1660 Super. It's a fucking good card.
And performance issues and crashes that became a mainstream controversy. Cyberpunk lost 200,000 players in its first month, as most wrote it off forever. However, as CD Projekt rolled out patches over the following year, the actual game could eventually be seen underneath the grime. It's a real shame that Cyberpunk 2077's legacy will be the utterly awful launch, because had this not been the case, players could have enjoyed it on its wealth of merits. The game has a strong sense of identity thanks to an instantly believable world and a story filled with memorable characters. It rewards exploration and immersion and has an instantly recognizable visual aesthetic. And whilst it still has its issues,
Jackie, my man,
it's now a brilliant addition to the Western action RPG genre. And that's the list. Let us know what you thought of this video down in the comments below. Which of these video games did you give up on, and would you consider giving any of them?
I definitely would consider giving No Man's Sky a chance. And I don't care about Sea of Thieves. Fallout 76, I've been playing on and off since the beginning. Star Wars Battlefront 2. I like Star Wars. I played the Old Republic, the MMO, for quite a while. That's where my channel started, actually. I don't like the rigidity of MMOs sometimes. I don't like the busy work of MMOs sometimes. Like, it's one thing if you have secrets and like if they're well done, then I will go and I'll find everything. Again, like Skyrim was a really good example of, like, putting things where people will be interested in going and exploring and finding stuff, like, and doing things like not the Radiant Quest, because that shit's bullshit. Again, I don't like fucking busy work, but like, just damn, man, just like, make the games that like, you know how to make good games. Just make good games, man. Have your fucking internal testing, and at every fucking stage of the games, like, ask them, is this game fun to play? Like, and if the answer is no, then you need to do something about it. Excuse me. Okay. Alright, sorry guys. Getting distracted by fucking nothing. Alright, so we are on to oh yeah, and Cyberpunk, like definitely gonna, like, I'm still in, like, I kinda wanna do another playthrough. I did Female V, and I ended up staying with Judy and the Aldecados. In the end, I chose to go back home. I'd rather live out my days with Judy and the Aldecados in Pan Am, and, like, you know, like, at least go out in the company of friends and family and the people I love. And we've been through a lot, and we've lost a lot of people. I was really upset that we lost Saul. I crushed the shit out of that motherfucker Atom Smasher. It's a good game. I'm eager for a new DLC, a new game. I'm excited to see Idris Elba in the game. That's going to be cool. I did hear Johnny in the and somebody was talking to him. So is he just part of the narration, or is he the I don't know. I'm very interested. And speaking of, let's get into some Cyberpunk lore. Actually, put that right there. And this one? Yes. I was just watching this guy. It's Hedron Rockworks. He turns precious stones into dice. That shit is fucking crazy cool. See if I can see if there's anything else that's interesting today. Oh, sorry. Before we go, before we get into this, I want to queue up some one or two other things. Oh, and did you know they confirmed that in the lore that Jason is a Deadite? It's pretty cool. Makes sense. I do want to. We checked out the beta for the demo for Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon. Maybe that is the demo, or no, there was more there, but I don't know. I might get back into that at some point. We've got too much coming out though. Like Diablo 4 is coming. Fuck, 5 days. The beta's coming, and what are we? We're already in May, and it's gonna be here in June. And between as soon as the beta ends, I'll be getting into Mass Effect, and then that's what I'll be doing until we go into full-blown Diablo 4 mode. Because I will be. I played Diablo Immortal for a while. I did buy into it for a little while. I'm not afraid to spend money. That shit comes and goes. I'm smart about my money. Like, you know, I don't gamble or anything like that. Excessive rain possible. Okay, this is gonna be a wet week for everybody. But I did put some money into the early game for because when you first start the game, they throw currency at you and everything, and you can go and you do the rifts, and you'll get good stuff. And if you get real lucky, you'll get the good gems that you're interested in, and you play until you get the gems that you're interested in, or at least you not necessarily spend, but you do the rifts, the dailies, and all that stuff to get your so you can do the elder rifts, and you get the gems that you want, and then you just play the game normally, because unless you're a whale or you really want to spend that much money, there's no reason beyond a certain point to spend real world money on Diablo Immortal, unless you're into the battle pass, but that's cosmetics. Who fucking cares about cosmetics? Banana after 180 days in epoxy resin. What the hopefully NFTs are dying. That's cool. Fallout TV show, new images revealed. Let's actually. Okay, so we're gonna have to do that.
It's been roughly 6 months since we've...
Shut up. Not yet. So that's one more. Let's get one more item to look at tonight. Boiling fire noodles with 100 slices of cheese. What the living lactose intolerance have we got here? I'll have all right, I'm gonna have to watch that. That. Okay. Yeah, we might have to watch that. Boiling fire noodles with 100 slices of cheese. Yeah, that okay. Okay, I'm not that big of a Trekkie. I'll have to watch that off channel or off stream. I'll have to watch that one off stream too, because that's like a half an hour, and I don't want to. Gary and his demons. Again, I'm gonna watch that one, and then Gary and his demons. Sounds interesting. Okay. I'm gonna watch that off. That shit's just fucking. That's just okay. Lost in Space is free on YouTube Premium. Off the grid. Okay. I think, okay, maybe, okay, so this is that game. Okay. Yeah, this I do want to watch on here. Okay. So...
Same story I've heard 1,000 times, bro.
Okay. All right, now we can get, okay, now we can get up into the next one. So apparently Raish Bartmoss is alive. Let's find out, because apparently, I mean, I think we found, like, I think we found his body in the fucking, in the dump somewhere.
You that the most notorious
Yeah, we found his body in the dump, and there was a legendary deck. Is that what it's called? Yeah, or whatever, the hacking thing. There's a legendary deck in the fridge with him. So I think he's dead, but maybe that was just a shell. Maybe he's loose in the net, or he downloaded into another body or something. I don't know. Let's find out.
Early 21st century is still alive. No, I don't mean Alt Cunningham or even Spider Murphy. No, I believe both are alive and have made separate videos for the two. I'm actually thinking more along the lines of the mastermind behind the data crash that killed the original net, Raish Bartmoss.
Raish.
No, of course I understand it's a rather tall order to fill when making a claim such as this. However, before you comment about seeing his body in 2077 and click off the video, I believe I can get you just as convinced as I am.
Okay,
by the end.
okay, I'm
If
listening.
you're interested as well in cyberpunk rabbit holes, theories, and lore explanation extending to every end of its expansive universe, I'd suggest subscribing to stay in tune on further developments on my channel as I uncover the
I think I am
mystery of
subscribed, sir.
2077 and source books. Now we can dig into the secrets behind Bartmoss. So let's go ahead and address the obvious elephant in the room. Dead body might actually be a better way to phrase it. V and Silverhand can find Raish Bartmoss's preserved yet dead body in a freezer within 2077.
Yes,
It's a
we
part
can.
of the Cold Mirage side quest, activated sometime after the Ghost Town mission, where either set or locate coordinates that lead us to the freezer containing Bartmoss.
Oh, fuck a dog doll.
One thing I know like I know my own name. You do not poke around strangers' cool boxes. Best case scenario, you find a half-gallon jug of rancid milk. Worst? Motherfucker of a set mask. That's Raish Bartmoss.
The Bartmoss. Data crash rabbit Bartmoss. Guy who trashed the first net?
Well, it wasn't his uncle. Yeah, him. I'd recognize that mug anywhere. Wanted posters all over town back in 2020. Public enemy number 1, dead or alive. Half the city was on the hunt, though. Poor bastard. Ended up here as a dead rat in a cool box. Until some circuit blew and he thawed like so much meat.
As we can see, Silverhand himself as well as V are surprised to see the Raish Bartmoss in some random freezer from 2020. After a short bit of convincing, V opens the fridge back up to scan for tech. What we see is not what's of interest though, it's what we don't see. A data file on Raish Bartmoss, the most notorious netrunner of 2020, who Silverhand himself states had wanted posters all over Night City, doesn't show up as an NCPD report and doesn't even show up with the deceased scan.
Hold up. Gotta be some electronics in here. First net relics, almost crank powered. Be a shame just to leave it.
I need to think about it.
Said the gonk who missed the shuttle. Come on, look inside.
Oh, well. SGI Tech Elisla. Best cyber deck in its class.
Yep.
See?
Yeah.
Worth getting a little rot on your hands sometimes. Hey, just thinking. Cat at the Afterlife goes by Nix. Looked like somebody who'd know legacy tech. Chat him up. See what happens. Could end up pulling something from it.
For all we know, this body itself could be a ploy, a distraction from what is actually happening behind the scenes. In the year of 2077, even back in 2013, it should go without saying that's not much of a reach to say that a duplicate body could be formed to resemble Rage Bartmoss. That is, of course, if Silverhand, through his corrupted and messy memories, even is properly identifying Bartmoss as himself. After this scan, V then recovers his cyber deck and takes it back to the netrunner Nix.
Ah, we're golden. One more hurdle, but it ought to be as easy as pie. My, my. Of all people, Bartmoss should have done better. Okay, what we got here?
Someone's got a brain broiler. You absolutely sure you want to check in? Ideas be fast and stat. Couple of minutes and his skull's fucking dead.
Gotcha. Fucking muffin. You breathing? Apparently. Feels like I got a skull full of hot embers. Just... what the hell happened?
You started convulsing. Lights went out. Outlets started spitting sparks. So I sat down and finished for you.
Hold up. Mean to say, you reached Bartmoss' deck? Lowly you.
Oh, that's not nice.
Damn straight. I am the best netrunner in town, after all.
Howdy, kid. But maybe something. Alright. Let's see just what you pulled from this. Damn. Chat history of sorts. Potentially interesting, but nothing explosive.
Shame, kinda. Well, I guess I could delve some more. See if I can't find something interesting in there.
Listen. My services usually command a tidy sum, but this time, well, seems you rendered me a service. Take this. Handful of demons live on their shard. Wasn't Bartmoss who coded them, but they should be useful nonetheless.
Upon saving Nix from the brain boiler, we discover there's absolutely nothing of interest besides some basic chat logs and information. There aren't even programs created by Bartmoss himself. We're basically being told that Lee Bartmoss has a few rare and epic quick acts, none of which he produced, on his cyber deck, along with a limited amount of information and chat logs. I don't believe any portion of this discovery is believable and pointing toward nothing being hidden from us upon locating his apparent body. What's interesting about this specific freezer is that not only are we often suddenly given coordinates to it, the many ways to skin a cat questline leads us to an associated shard of interest to us. It's simply titled Notice of Expiration. It reads, Contract Expiration, Unit 27680743. Additional services, electricity, high-speed net connection. Unit specifications. Freezer, large, locked, with instructions, do not open. The 50-year contract expired on 04/02/2075. The client has not responded to calls for contract renewal. Unit contents will be discarded at the landfill at the requested location on 4/10/2075. Client data.
So was that a backup?
Reference to the freezer Rage Bartmoss is found within. Though a few details do not line up with what we know of Bartmoss's death from Stormfront. Stormfront details that Bartmoss was killed May 26, 2022. A 50-year contract, however, would set for an expiration of 2072, not 2075. Within the Cyberpunk sourcebook, Firestorm, Stormfront, there is an adventure detailing Raish's apparent death. Within this adventure, the player characters are tasked with eliminating a netrunner whose coordinates were recently discovered and had been a nuisance to Arasaka. This, of course, turns out to be Rage Bartmoss, and of course matching his caliber of intelligence, he was no pushover when it came to security. In the hectic battles of the Connacht, the player characters have no time to check Bartmoss's body in the freezer, having to instead immediately light it up in the middle of action after finding it. After doing so, loads of mechanisms begin activating as the timer begins for the Connacht to be decimated and set into ruin, 30 seconds to be exact. Many of these mechanisms as well are what you could be compared to basically trolling, such as making fun of Aristocrat operatives for not knowing English, or printing a paper saying, "Take your damn reward, but beware of the fiscal tube worms before they eat your brain with sharp, prognathous jaws, leaving nothing but flagellating, orgiastic pods decomposing where your soul used to wrestle, screaming against the chains which bound you. Go smoke your kimono." Afterward, the players are left to attempt to recover his freezer and prove his death. A task difficult to do, seeing as he spread lesser versions of himself throughout the net. The overall point of this adventure is that Bartmoss knew he had been traced. He was prepared to be attacked, and never once did he have a body, or even a technicality, recover it. This all could have easily been playing into a big trap set by Bartmoss. After all, what is the likelihood that Rach Bartmoss slips up and allows Arasaka to track him?
This is true.
In 2020, his heart stopped and physical body died for unknown reasons, though his life support machine sensed it and supercooled his body. Because he was connected to the net at the time, he continued to live in there. We know his body was already dead as he lived in the net by the time that he had been raided by Arasaka.
Oh, wow.
So honestly, what difference does it make that his body gets smoked by some mercenaries? He could have easily continued living within the net. Looking at the way events had unfolded in relation to each other, the timing seems off, that Bartmoss had simply died when the assassination took place. It is unlikely that anyone other than Spider Murphy knew Bartmoss's body was already dead. So, this assassination attempt was likely done unbeknownst to Arasaka, that Bartmoss's body had already been long gone. Within Bartmoss's Guide of a Net, Bartmoss even claims to have watched the entirety of the data crash unfold as it redesigned the entire net. Of course, as well, right before his supposed death, Race Bartmoss contacted Spider Murphy, in which he made a huge joke out of the situation, taking none of it seriously. The entirety of the situation creeped out Spider Murphy. I believe his send-off to Spider Murphy wasn't because of his death, but rather, this was the time for him to enter the net and enact a sort of master plan he has had all along. As we know from Stormfront, Raish Bartmoss was in contact with Alt Cunningham during the Fourth Corporate War, and was targeting Arasaka's Soul Killer 2.5 when he had been traced. What we need to point out, though, is for the Rabbids program, aka Roving Autonomous Bartmoss Interface Drones, he had used a twisted version of Soul Killer. This analysis is directly stated within Red. I believe this as well leaves a massive possibility that many seem to miss. If Raish Bartmoss could not have already continued living in the net without his body, which seems like a high possibility on its own, he must have had the opportunity to soul kill himself and continue living on as a net ghost. Bartmoss could have even had a Soul Killer program linked to his Dead Man switch that activated the data crash and all of his security protocols upon his death. The nature of the data crash allowed both computer-generated artificial intelligences and soul-killed pseudo-intellects to travel through what remained of the net unimpeded. This was seen as possibly a favor from Bartmoss to his old friend and fellow programmer, Alt Cunningham.
Oh, wow.
This is quoted on page 255 of the Cyberpunk Red sourcebook within the data crash section. What this portion fails to identify, though, is the possibility that Bartmoss himself is a soul-killed pseudo-intellect, and therefore, this programming would allow himself to be unimpeded as well, meaning there's a possibility of Raish Bartmoss being beyond the Black Wall, just like the AI version of Alt Cunningham is within 2077. Right. Artazorian Games, the company behind the Cyberpunk tabletop RPGs, even play around and tease at the idea that Raish Bartmoss may not truly be dead, suddenly tweeting in January of this year, "All we're saying is, if a ghost on a broken chip living in your head says a corpse in a fridge is X in a time when biosculpting means you can look like anyone, maybe you need to ask yourself if the corpse is actually X." So after all, the idea is even within the heads of producers and assumingly the mind of Mike Pondsmith himself, seeing as Pondsmith has left plenty of open ends to bring back the characters he might wish to later on. There's a lot of possibilities that could blossom in the future of the Cyberpunk TTRPGs and video games, especially Orion. The return of a character like Bartmoss only becomes more likely as more is unveiled to us. Overall, He'd already been living in the net separate from his body, had access to altering the Soul Killer program to produce rabbits, set up a grand plan for once his location was traced in order to cause the data crash, went on a creepy virtual date with Spider Murphy to make her aware of what was happening, created ease of access for soul-killed pseudo-intellect and AI, as well as somehow managed to have his body stored for 50 years, and eventually dumped and revealed in 2077. Everything has a reason behind it, and clearly the Night City resident netrunner and genius has something big in store. Something bigger than the data crash. Something that could probably make up for how the corporations took back control using their own net structures. Something that is partially leaking to the community, yet few of us will see it coming. There's a few big rumors circulating, of course, such as Bartmoss being the Blue-Eyed Monk, being a part of the Mr. Blue Eyes organization, leading the Bartmoss Collective, trolling those searching to unveil mysteries, or even working with the All AI in a massive plan.
Okay, so the... There are a lot of loose threads in Cyberpunk. Yeah. And Johnny is now beyond the black wall with Alt and Bart. I wonder if Jackie is somewhere back there, because we know, I think he was soul killed. But I don't know, like that thing that was on display was not Jackie. But Bartmoss working with Alt, yeah, especially with Johnny on board now.
That we are not in the know of. I personally find that after all the evidence collected in this video, it would be the most reasonable theory to conclude that Bartmoss is somewhere beyond the black wall, just like the supposed AI of However, I want to know what you all believe. Do you agree that the evidence within this video can lead to a reasonable conclusion as to Rach Bartmoss?
Sir, I'm not sure if he's the blue-eyed man or the blue-eyed monk. Although them all wearing the same ring, it's quite possible that this is what's going on. Again, there are some puzzling loose ends. The more I think about it, the more I should go and play this game again. But I just don't like playing games over again because I've already done the things. And I'm always going to do the things in mostly the order I did, unless I really fucked up and I get a better ending if I do it differently this time. That being said, there probably are a few, like killing Oda or whatever. The other dude, there were a couple of things that I should have done differently. But I don't think I will be a corpo. Maybe a street punk. I don't know.
Being alive and faking his death. Or do you even have additional information and speculation to build upon this collection? Maybe even evidence to back up the conspiracy theories presented to us by Max Mike on the radio in 2077. If you enjoyed the video, remember to subscribe and even join my Discord to keep up to date on revelations, rabbit holes, theories, and more on Cyberpunk 2077 and other RPGs. As well as channel memberships open for as little as $1.
Pizza. Homemade pizza. Very, very good. Okay. New set photos for Fallout TV for the Fallout TV show. Let's go.
Seen or heard any news regarding the Fallout TV show. However, very recently, new images of set footage have been surfacing, and in today's video, we're going to be covering everything you need to know. So, without any further ado, let's dive right on in. Firstly, before we jump into everything, I want to say a big thank you to everyone for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate all the well wishes, so a big thank you to everyone, as yesterday we had an awesome day celebrating. And
Happy
you'll be happy
birthday.
to know I made it past the first day of being 30, so apparently it's not all that bad. However, back in October 22, we got a ton of leaks of set footage of various props and set locations that will be featured in the upcoming Amazon Prime Fallout TV show. And to coincide with that, during the Fallout 25th anniversary, we got a tiny but tasteful glimpse into the world that Jonathan Nolan is creating, alongside the creative input of Todd Howard and Bethesda Studios. But since then, there hasn't really been anything. Quite frankly, there's been nothing but radio silence and speculations. And even though we've seen new information regarding new updates that are slated for summer of this year in Fallout 76, there's one thing fans are still waiting on, and that's the 2023 roadmap for Fallout 76, which could, at this stage, be one of the roadmaps that has taken the longest to release. And for some in the community, they feel that the Fallout TV show has a big part to play in that. But according to some sources, filming of the show wrapped up in April of this year. And according to other sources, some of the show is still yet to be finished and wrapped up well into this month. We'll discuss the roadmap and the plans for 76 very shortly, but with the reveal of new set footage coming out of the Fallout TV show, that theory that the show has wrapped up filming is starting to look very plausible. Yesterday, May 4th, images such as these surfaced, and of course with any amount of new information that comes out of any big upcoming release, fans of the show and in the community have started to get more excited. Now, we'll go through each of the new images individually and break them down, but taking a look at the first image, which as you can see shows one Vault Dweller offering a Nuka-Cola to another ghoulified Vault Dweller. Straight off the bat, you need to give credit where credit is.
Is that a real guy or is that a statue? Because don't ghouls have regular eyes? That shit just looks weird. Looks like he's not even looking. It looks like he's looking down at his cigarette. No, I don't know. It's weird.
And when it comes to the work
I thought that was
and prosthetics,
Daniel Radcliffe for a second.
Ghoul character, I mean, bravo! The work is incredible.
There's his eye. Okay.
At a closer look, and of course, once the likes of CGI and other visuals are implemented, this character, quite frankly, will look terrifying. And I honestly feel that's the feeling they're trying to capture here, because regardless of what entry of the Fallout franchise you played, your first interaction with a ghoul was meant to feel terrifying. But I have to say, I like the touch they've added here, such as having the ghoul smoking. It's kind of giving me a bit of a Dean Domino vibe. Moving on, you can clearly see in the background and hung up upon the wall behind two of these characters a flag representing Vault 30.
I think the first ghoul I ever met was the one the ghoul in Megaton. I forget what his name is, but he was cool. I think that was the first ghoul I ever met.
3, which at this stage backs up the theory even more that part of the show will more than likely be set on the West Coast. As mentioned in my previous video, and according to the Fallout TV show IMDb, Vault 33 is located in San Diego on the West Coast of America. And considering that the likes of San Francisco, Las Vegas, and even the area that makes up the Zion National Park are all in close proximity to where Vault 33 is meant to be located, it's looking more and more likely that factions such as the NCR, the Grey Khans, the Followers of the Apocalypse, and other West Coast factions will make an appearance. However, considering we haven't seen any photos or concrete evidence that fits the faction, That theory is still
I
up
keep
for
getting
speculation,
stirrings to
but more
play
than likely
Fallout
time will
4
tell.
again, too.
And finally, the next little detail that stands out in a big way once you see it is the clear representation of the Pip-Boy that the Vault Dweller is wearing on his arm. As you can see, and from the design, we can see that the model of the
It's
Pip-Boy
odd.
that they're wearing
I
is
love
that of
Fallout
the
3
Pip-Boy
and New Vegas,
3000 Mark
but I've
IV,
played them
which
both
if you've
so
seen plenty
much,
of hours in the game, will know that this was the model
like
of Pip-Boy
over and
used
over
in
again,
Fallout
that
4.
I've
Now,
got to
obviously, the
spend a
color
lot
of
of
the
time
Pip-Boy
away
is
from them.
slightly different
But
here than what
Fallout
we're used
4,
to from
I
Fallout
am
4, as the color here reflects
starting
a
to
more
get the
gray
urge.
stainless steel color.
It looks
And when
really
it comes to
nice. Let's go
Fallout
back.
4,
Let's
it
go
was
back to
more of a
that.
dark brown to from Fallout 4, as the color here reflects a more gray stainless.
So let's see. Is there anything? Okay, so that is the one. Okay, so that kind of looks pretty cool. I like the streamlined look of the Pip-Boy here instead of the giganto bulky one. Yeah, that looks more pragmatic, more, like something you would actually wear out in the waste, that would be useful to you. That's pretty cool.
Steel color, and when it comes to Fallout 4, it was more of a dark brown color. But who knows, even though that the photo has just recently been released, this photo could have been taken at any time during filming, and might have been taken
I
at
like the
beginning
color.
of
It makes it
production.
show up
And when
better
it
on
comes to the
camera.
final color and the design of any prop, a lot can change during
Doesn't
production.
look like a
and
blob
also
of shit on their
post-production.
arm
So
while
maybe that color could
they're
change.
walking
But
around.
let me know below what you think of the design. Moving on from that, the next photo we caught a glimpse of was that of the computer, or by the looks of it, and to be a little bit more accurate, the terminal that...
Look at that sexy, sleek, all-in-one computer. Ooh, don't that take you back to the 80s? It definitely is an 80s look, yeah. Because even in the 80s, this was like the whole and all-in-one cabinet look. Like this was a thing. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah.
you can see here. Now, at a first...
It looks like something that would be produced by Robco, that could be set in different offices. You know what I'm saying? Like actual terminals, where any employee has access to these, and they all work similarly, and they're all functionally the same across the board, and they do what they need to do. Yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, terminals.
glance, and if you're very familiar with terminals in the Fallout universe, you can see that the design here is very different from what we're used to, as the terminals that we've seen throughout countless of the entries in the Fallout franchise were a little bit bigger in size, and the size of the screen would take up the majority of the console itself. However, as we can see here, the design is a little bit different. Firstly, the screen
It's
size
functional.
and the dials to the right of the screen obviously set this design apart from its in-game counterparts, as even though some of the terminals found throughout the universe would feature two dials to the right of the screen on top of each other, this design shows both of the dials side by side, and their positioning taking up a large chunk of the monitor space to the right. Now, I know these kind of details are very minuscule compared to bigger details that we'll see once the show is released, but for any fan of the franchise, and once you take a glance at this design, you immediately notice a big difference. Not really something that's disappointing, but you can notice the differences. The next little detail that we can see, and once you look...
Right, but it's something that I would... Like, this feels like it's pulled from, like, the real world. Like, it would be, like not only that it would be in the real world, but pulled from that world, too. Like look, like, at some point, you have to be concerned with portability. And, like, having something that can actually be taken from office to office, like if you move, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, this seems more plausible than the aesthetic style that was like there for, like, this is not a video game. It looks fine. I know what he's saying. It's all about the details. But I can see this. Yeah, you can like see there's the bulkhead right there. You can see this. You can see people bringing like 150 of these motherfuckers in, like on dollies, and like and everybody gets one. You know what I'm saying? This is why every fucking knucklehead in the wasteland knows how to fucking like to to operate one of these things, because they're all the fucking same, standardized. If everything's green and black, don't break what's not broken. No, don't fix what's not broken.
A little bit closer is that of the ruler's place to the left of the terminal, which features the Vault-Tec logo. As you can see, each of the rulers have the Vault-Tec logo printed on them, so more than likely we can assume that the setting of this particular photo
we just pointed out the bulkhead.
likely set inside of Vault 33, or on the other hand could be set inside of a Vault-Tec office somewhere. But considering that the window frame behind the desk looks very like the design of a Vault window, we can quickly theorize that this is more than likely Vault 33. The next photo we caught a glimpse of was that of what looks like the Vault door entrance that we see back when Amazon teased the Fallout TV show. As you can see, when you look closer and putting these two images side by side, this is more than likely the entrance that we see.
That is a bulky ass fucking Pip-Boy unit though.
Catwalk, this is very similar to what we normally see at most entrances to the vault. So from this we can quickly confirm that this set photo is the same from what we seen back in October of last year. Other than that, there's nothing really else that stands out, bar the green screen in the backdrop of the entrance. And considering most green screens are used for CGI visuals, such as background environments or backgrounds added in during post-production, we can assume that the entrance to Vault 33 won't be subterranean, unlike a lot of vaults we've seen in the Fallout franchise. And from the photo we seen back in October of last year that shows the residents
it's going to be inside of a mountain or something.
We can see a bright background behind the figure at the door. So from this, we can assume that Vault 33 will be a vault located above ground. And finally, the last photo that was revealed was that of what looks like a lot of props that will be used during the show. And to be honest, there's not really a lot to go on here, bar a couple of the props that we can see. At a closer look, we can see a cabinet that's holding a ton of what looks like vinyl records. And considering the majority of music that's featured in the Fallout franchise is music set during the 1940s and 1950s, we can quickly assume that the Fallout TV show will follow the same style. Now, unfortunately, we can't really make out any of the designs on the spines of each of the records, so we don't really know what artists will be featured. However, one thing's for sure, if I don't hear the lyrics of I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire,
looks like they're
I'll
on plates
definitely be
too.
a little bit disappointed. But regardless of that, I'm sure the music featured in the show will be incredible. Now, on the other hand, I could be completely wrong here, and these records could be something else, but I really think by the shape and the design that they're more than likely vinyl records. Other than that, we can only really see what looks like a vault door entrance console, or could be a console used for something else inside of the vault, as we can see some pressure gauge dials and
or it could just be used something beyond backstage or back set.
We can see what looks like a wooden sign with the words government and a word partially blocked and covered by other props that says Reds, or could be the side of a wall found out in the wasteland. And considering the backdrop we seen during Jonathan Nolan's brief interview during the Fallout 25th anniversary video was that of a sort of
really
desert
hope
terrain,
this. I hope you're watching, guys. I hope this show
there's
is
nothing really else to
fucking
go on
awesome.
from this photo, but regardless of what details we can spot, each of the photos are exciting to see and really breathes more hype and anticipation into the build-up of the show's release. Moving on from that and going back to what I mentioned a little earlier about the 2023 roadmap for...
Even though I like this game for everything it is, this is, in my opinion, disingenuous to, like, what you... I don't know. Like, the feeling that this right here evokes is different to the feeling that the game was.
Fallout 76. Quite frankly, there hasn't been any new information or news coming out of Bethesda regarding the future of Fallout 76 in 2023. If you're unaware, the roadmap, and not to be confused by the community calendar, is a blueprint set out by the developers, which they share with the community at the beginning of each year. That gives the community a better understanding and overview on upcoming content during that particular year. This year is looking like the longest Bethesda have gone without providing a roadmap for the game, bar the release of the 2020 roadmap, which was released on May 14th of that year. So we still have about a week to go before 2023 could possibly be the year that the community has gone the longest without seeing any roadmap. And quite honestly, roadmaps are definitely an essential part to any online service lifecycle, as it gives the community something to look forward to.
I mean, this, yeah, okay, that part right there, yeah, okay. That's when you take on the Queen, and okay, that part, okay, that was proper. It is what it is. That's how exactly how that feels when you're getting ready to meet the Queen. Okay.
And considering we've already had the release of Redfall, and as a
looks so
community, all
good.
focus is now on Starfield, Fallout 76, bar its once-in-a-blue-moon update, slated for summer of this year, is starting to feel like it's becoming forgotten about in regards
It's just
to
not
major
worth making a
content
new
releases.
character.
However, that's where some of the community have theorized that the Fallout TV show has something to
Not
do
for
with
me.
that. Going back to what we mentioned earlier, that filming wrapped up in April of this year. Normally, for most shows, post-production can take roughly up to 6 months. Through screening, final edits, and general post-production.
I got my mole miner. Mr. Bobby got me this a couple of days ago. That's just pretty cool. Thank you very much, Bobby. By the way.
Theory becomes very plausible. And for some people in the community, they feel that the lack of a 2023 roadmap ties into that, as they feel Bethesda is holding back on revealing any information on the roadmap that could potentially reveal or spoil any information regarding to the TV show itself. Now, some people, including myself, have speculated that the next iteration of expeditions in Fallout 76 will feature a location that the community has never been to before.
Nice.
And this statement
Yeah,
was
I think
backed
New
up
Jersey.
last year by one of the developers who worked on Fallout 76. And some people feel that this location could have a direct link and tie directly into the premise of the Fallout TV show, and as a result is why the community still haven't seen any 2023 roadmap. And to be honest, I'm starting to agree with that theory. On the other hand, myself and others who believe this could be completely wrong, and maybe in the next week or two we could see the release of a new roadmap. But if you connect the dots in terms of the timelines, that theory starts to become very plausible. And before we wrap things up for today, I want to give a special mention to an incredible charity initiative we're supporting during the month of May. This month we're going to be working in association with Fallout for Hope in support of Wes Johnson's Alzheimer's Association charity campaign. The Alzheimer's Association leads the way to end Alzheimer's and all other dementia by accelerating global research, driving risk reduction and early detection,
Good
and
cause.
also maximizing quality care and support. During this month, myself and many others will be actively campaigning and raising funds for this incredible charity. And we're calling on others who would like to take part and help raise funds by heading over and signing up at falloutforhope.com/join. Whether you stream, create content in other ways, your support will go a very long way. So if you'd like to take part, I'll leave a link in a pinned comment below. If you'd also like to donate and help our efforts, you can head over to my Tiltify donation link and donate as much as you'd like to. And again, a link will be made available below. My own personal goal and what I'd love to reach during our efforts is $1,000. But whatever we can reach as a community will be greatly appreciated and will go a very long way in helping the lives of others. And with that, that's everything from the new images revealed from the Fallout TV show. Let me know below in the comments what you thought about some of the photos and theories shared in today's video. And if you don't want to miss out and want to be kept up to date with everything Fallout related, consider clicking that subscribe button and turning on that bell notification button. And if you enjoyed today's video, consider dropping a like. And before we head on out, I want to say a big thank you to our channel members for your continued support and dedication to the channel. And of course to all of our subscribers who've helped the channel to grow. If you're also looking to pick up some Bethesda theme items over on the Bethesda store, you can use my creator code BTPineapple051 to receive 20% off of your purchases at checkout. And if you'd like to support the channel a little bit more personally, consider checking out my merch store, which has an array of t-shirts, mugs, prints, and other pineapple themed merch, which I'll leave in a link in the description of this video. And lastly, to you, the viewer, the person who stumbled upon this video, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, Vault Dwellers, stay safe out there in the wasteland. Welcome to Vault 93, and I'll catch you all in the next video.
Cool. That was cool. Yeah. And I did, sir. I did fucking stumble onto your video, so thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, and now, before we jump into this, let me go out and stretch my legs, fucking smoke a cigarette. But we have one more trailer to look at, and this is from Enfant Terrible. I like saying his name, or her. But I believe we caught a glimpse of this trailer, and it looks very, very cyberpunk, like it takes place in the cyberpunk universe, and it looked really nice. So we'll be looking at that real quick, and then let's see. The immortality of Silverhand. Ed, Ed, and Eddie. Such a good show. Okay, yeah, let me go and, I need to make coffee too. Dangerously low on caffeine. So, actually, I will throw the music on. And... yeah. Once again, this is Total Eclipse. Yeah, Texas? Yeah. All kinds of shit is going down by there. Sugar just gets in the way of the caffeine. Coffee is on. Totally get the biggest Purina one with salmon. Yeah. Okay, all right. Yep. just like to say that, again, I am very happy that I signed up for the Spotify. Is if there's one thing I hate, is the fucking music stopping in the middle for no reason. And it doesn't even, you know, like, the advertisings don't even show up, so it's just like, it's just like dead. There's nothing there. But yeah, like, now I'm a Spotify, like, premium, whatever the fuck. So, good to go. All right, got my coffee. Diane made those? I'll have to thank her in the morning. So, there's a game that I've been talking about a little bit on here before. It is called Death Trash. It is currently in what do you call it? Early release. So you can get it for like $20. There is content. And there's enough to get a feel for the game. it is being updated all the time. We just got like a couple updates. We're very close to each other. Ooh, Tail Crafter's Test mod. What? Tell me more. Oh, okay. So, okay. That's cool. They actually have test where you can mod for the game now. It's a test mod, obviously. But they did say that they are working on content now, and that's a really good thing. But they have been moving progressively, making tools for their game, fixing things in the back end, which is definitely a good thing. And considering that it's just 2 people, it's actually a pretty fucking good game, and the art style is fucking cool and creepy and visceral. So go and check it out. It's definitely worth your time. I may log into Fallout 76 real quick after this, just for the hell of it, and see what's up before we jump into Atomic Heart. But let's look at this real quick. This is Off the Grid Switcher trailer or whatever. I don't know. We're gonna find out. Let's find out.
Bro, running away from something? Came here for a better future or whatever? I got news for you. This whole island is a meat grinder. So heal up nice and good. Go do some jobs for me. Okay? Hey, wake up! Get back in the fight here! Fred! Fred! I need a hand here!
Go on. Get out of here, you sewer rat.
Food? Please, sir, food?
Food. I ain't got no goddamn food. Now get back over to your bed before you get shot. Help me, you fuck! Where's Storm? She's hunting the other one down. She took off. You ever get that feeling that you're fighting for the wrong side?
Oh, so this is the second part to the trailer we saw.
There you go. Night night, bitch. I told you I like this arm.
Oh shit.
Well, get out of here. Go! Get out of here before some psycho comes to kill you guys. Go! I think I earned a flight out of here. Here. Go on, take it. You can buy some food with it.
Yeah. I'm still recording, man. I like how this game looks. Well, it's just fucking. This is just
Fuck this island.
Damn. Oh shit, Neo Blanca. Oh man, off the grid. I definitely want to fucking. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't come to this godforsaken island looking for money. I came here to escape.
Hey, Grant! Step up! Grant! You awake? You hear me?
Yeah, I fucking heard you. 3 vehicles up ahead. Previous team pinned down by mine. They got our loot. And that is a sweet arm.
Keep your eyes on the target, Slick!
Oh, I am.
Yeah, we remember that in the first trailer.
We gotta get out of here. Here they come. Storm, take them out. Grant, you're with me. You, drop. You getting it? Follow me. Missile! What are you gonna do to us? No! Stay in the vehicle! Get out of here! Go!
already. Find out once I'm out alive. Can't let these butchers have them.
Yeah, agreed.
Wait till they get right up against that car. They hit the fuel cells.
Roger that.
So that was the first part to that. We've seen this in the previous one, yeah. Pretty nice ship.
Mr. Roberts, I have Kevin Chandler here to see you, sir.
Just send them in.
Vinny, what's up, baby?
Don't talk to me like we're equals, Chandler. Sit down. You disgust me, you know that?
Hey, I can go, you know, but you wouldn't want that, would you? Because let me guess, what cesspool have you guys found yourselves in this time, huh? You need my expertise to dig you out from. Because we all know, when I get called to the Crystal Kingdom, it's because something's gone horribly awry. Did I say that properly? Anyways, you call my boss, and he calls me.
Nothing's gone awry, Chandler, but yes, there is something sensitive with which we need your help. And I'm not naive. You think I made partner? Made it to the board of the biggest algorithmic trading company on Earth without getting bloody? I just don't wear it like a stained apron like you and that clown for whom you work. There's a way we do things here at Cascadia. We're professionals, and you're not fitting in.
Just spit it out, Vinny. What do you want? Car bomb? Poisoning? Dismemberment?
It's disposal.
Ah, disposal. My favorite. The old Cascadia Medical Research Wing. Losing live patients again? What have you done this time?
It's time sensitive. An ambulance is leaving now, crossing town, going west. Paramedics have mistakenly picked up some of our patients, and we weren't able to intervene at the time. They assumed it was a drug overdose. They don't quite understand what they have on their hands, but once they get to the hospital, they will, and that can't happen. We want no trace of this evidence.
No shit. You know, next time, just call. I don't need to be summoned to the commanding heights. And yeah, for you and the masters of the universe, I'll take care of that little ambulance and its dirty little medtech secrets.
Chandler, don't tell Riggs. I don't need another trigger-happy psycho on this. One is enough.
Oh, I don't tell him everything. Sometimes I like to handle these things all by my very own self. Just sit tight, Vinny. I got you.
We have a major problem with Kevin Chandler, and word reports to you. This isn't the first time I've raised the matter. Are you hearing me? We can't let an attack dog like that set loose without constraints. And Riggs is worse. He's too unstable to be involved in the chain of command at these levels. Are you hearing me?
I am always listening to you, Vincent Roberts, in more ways than you can imagine. I am also listening to the rest of the Cascadia board, too, in all the intricate frequencies humans emit.
Chandler has to go. Jordan Riggs has to go. How much longer must they be tolerated?
Until they have served their purpose, Vincent Roberts. Now leave me to solve other problems. That's right. Come to Papa.
I hope it's a game. Yeah, definitely Elysium vibes, but also very cyberpunk. It's yeah. This is like something you would find in like an expansion. Like this would be like the New USA or whatever. Yeah, it has that kind of flavor, like outside the definitely outside the city in the Badlands. Hello, how you doing? Let me take this out of here. No.
Mr.
Nope. Not trying to do. Nope. This needs to go. Yeah, there we go. Go back. I'm just skulking around YouTube, finding some interesting stuff to watch. I'll be jumping in a few games here in a bit. Probably going to load up a dab here as well. I've got my coffee. Got my nicotine. Hope everybody's doing okay tonight. Yeah, and see, how long have we been going on for this one? This one's been for, oh, might as well make it an even 3, I guess, right? Is there anything cool we can look at real quick? There's so much. Oh, okay.
V can be saved. And I don't just say that because I huffed copium a couple seconds ago. I say it because I have evidence from the canon cyberpunk source books and 2077.
We're actually doing okay. I managed to start at a decent time, so
hear me out. As we know,
you
by
know,
the end of 2077,
we're actually making some headway
V is left
in
with
the,
very few options
in the
for
night.
survival. Well, technically 0 if you want to factor in his 6-month trial period after being released from Mikoshi. However, there is a way for V to survive that was never considered. Similar to the devil ending though, this would require the aid of a corporation, going by the name of Biotechnica. If you don't know what Biotechnica is, I don't blame you. Despite being an extremely important corporation when it comes to the world building.
I do wonder why you couldn't have just transferred V's consciousness into a Samson type body, sort of like Atom Smasher, and even so that it doesn't even look like you are in a cybernetic body. You can have like the whole prosthesis and everything and almost look human and whatnot, but whatever. Let's see what he's got to say for Biotechnica.
They remain relatively unspoken of in our 2077 playthrough. Here's a quick rundown.
That is true. Biotechnica did not play a huge role in the game, even though they are a super huge, mysterious company that we saw out in the flats, buildings everywhere, and we were like, what the fuck? What the fuck goes on out here? It's very X-Files type vibe going on.
Biotechnica is a corporation that sprouted in Rome. Despite being relatively unknown, they would suddenly have a world-changing development in their hands with the creation of a substitute for fossil fuels called CHOOH2. Though, this didn't last. Unable to keep up with supply and demand, they sold the exclusive licensing for the product to Petrochem. While this might be viewed as a fumble, Biotechnica still rose to the title of mega corporation as a result of their continued research and development, oftentimes involving biological weapons to be sold off to corps like Arasaka. Biotechnica didn't stop there though. They had a second world-changing discovery that ties into the rest of this video and theory. In 2020, a scientist by the name Francis Young was successful in producing the first self-aware, fully functional human clone by implanting a construct personality. Initially, this development was artificial, but soon enough, they began experimenting to insert naturalized, digitized personalities in clones using something similar in tech to the Soul Killer. We can actually look into the Cyberpunk Land of the Free adventure book to dive into the exact details of the first clone. Now, it's essential to note that this clone wasn't technically a human. Its name was Adriana, and despite looking exactly like Francis Young's daughter, didn't contain any portion of her personality. The only real description that can be used for this clone is that it was a rudimentary AI in human flesh, incapable of expressing any real emotion or desire. Directly pulling from page 11 of the source book, it reads, "Her knowledge and memories are a template drawn from several people, assembled in a computer as an artificial intelligence, and downloaded into the complete body." End quote. Now, you might be questioning why Biotechnica cloning technology and its history is so vital for V's survival. Or maybe you've already connected the dots in your head. While no specific ending is currently canon to 2077, I want you to think about this specific detail. No matter which ending you choose, V is soul-killed.
Yep.
In the devil ending, V is pushed into being soul-killed in order to be freed from an endless loop of experiments every single day.
Don't want to die.
A good choice. The Engram station is ready for you. We should not wait for your condition to worsen.
And in every other ending, V is soul-killed the moment he enters Mikoshi with Alt and Silverhand.
So, when do we start? Haven't caught on yet, have you? What? What do you mean? Alt's already split us. Once you jacked into Mikoshi, she lit you up with Soul Killer. Your output don't fuck around.
I am not his girlfriend.
No matter the ending, or even if he
I am not his girlfriend.
V is soul-killed
Hell
and
yeah.
turned into a soul-killed
Even as an
pseudo
AI
intellect.
construct, she's got
This
spice.
information allows my theory to be a canon possibility for V's survival, no matter what ending is considered canon. Despite being an exact replica of the specified human personality, at the end of the day, a soul-killed pseudo-intellect is a subtype of AI, rather than a human consciousness, one that can be downloaded, uploaded, altered, and moved around. We primarily, of course, know this through the Alt AI within 2077, which makes it abundantly clear that a soul-killed individual is simply information, rather than the actual person it replicates. So while yes, the original V is technically killed the moment he enters Mikoshi, or chooses to be soul-killed by Arasaka, we are talking about the survival of this version of V, the one that has been soul-killed. Just had to make that abundantly clear. We even note through 2077 that the major roadblock Arasaka experiences in bringing back Saburo Arasaka is that a host body must be genetically similar, which is why Yorinobu is used as his host body in the demo.
The CEO was reported years ago, but now the signal that a copy of his consciousness was made before his death. It appears his consciousness was used to override that of his son and heir, Yorinobu Arasaka. The press conference earlier today.
So, if a clone body is created as a host for soul intellect, it would be possible to properly bring that person back to life, and even create a loop of immortality. This means that just like Alt does for V when returning him to his body, it is possible that Biotechnica can create a clone of V and upload his soul-killed information directly to it. This would allow V to be brought back to life within an uncorrupted body, identical to his original. The obvious reasoning as to why Biotechnica hasn't capitalized on the ability to create immortality like this scenario proposes is that they don't have access to Soulkiller, though this wouldn't be an issue for V, seeing as he's already been soul-killed and has the relic inserted. On the flip side, Arasaka has been incapable of this revelation due to not having proper cloning technology. Looking at the Firestorm Shockwave sourcebook, we can actually see Arasaka was on the verge of creating immortality through the production of clones combined with Soulkiller. Page 139 states that the 2023 Arasaka Towers contained a cloning facility hooked up to its Soulkiller storage core, even containing tissue samples labeled as Alt Cunningham and Yorinobu Arasaka. We all know what happens in the 2023 raid though. The Arasaka Towers are nuked, and all data on the research and experiments are lost with it. Besides the 2023 Arasaka research, we even have two examples that provide us with proof that this process would be successful for V. However, I've already produced two separate videos covering these occurrences in a video essay format. These videos will be linked on screen and cover the idea that the real Alt Cunningham and Johnny Silverhand are alive through the use of cloned bodies in 2045. Both these videos are in-depth and cover every detail in relation to their stories, pulling from sourcebooks and 2077 alike. I recommend that everyone watches these two videos to be truly convinced of V's chance of survival. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Are you convinced that B has a shot at survival?
Is that something that we're going to answer in Phantom Liberty? Because again, we hear Johnny's voice. So is this in like when does like what like I'm just a little bit confused with the Phantom Liberty trailer and Johnny's voice being there, because he's like not supposed to be there unless this is correct and Johnny's real body, or the real Johnny Silverhand, is still out there in a cloned body, and this is like in that part of like wherever that is. Like I don't know. This is kind of it's kind of weird. And is V still like alive in Phantom Liberty, or is Idris Elba's character your new character? It's a new protagonist. It kind of makes sense since V's story is supposedly done.
Through this cloning method, or do you personally find it to be a bunch of gonk talk? Let me know all your thoughts down below.
I mean, anything's possible in this in the cyberpunk world.
Especially the conversations we all have on stream. If you'd like to become a member as well, and now membership's open for as little as $1 a month. You can get some emoticons, profile icons, your name in the end scroll of each video, and some other perks. I'll be streaming every Sunday at 11 a.m. PST. So tune in if you get the chance. Have a great week, Chooms.
Okay. So, let us see where Atomic Heart dumps us out, because I'm interested to find out where exactly that is. If it dumps us out where I think it's supposed to dump us out, then we have the option to go to a number of the research bunkers without too much problem. And because I've already beaten that game, I've already beaten one version of the game. I can take my time going through the rest of it and looking for some hidden stuff and just, I'm just not in such a rush. I was very taken aback by by the ending of the game, at least in my last playthrough. Very taken aback. Focus. There we go. And actually,